Langi Gadapani Konwar was the son of Gobar Roja. He was reputed for his giant stature, physical vigor, intelligence, and valor. Stories are still current about the enormous size of his rings, the unusual richness of his diet, and his voracious and carnivorous appetite. He is said to have strangled a wild buffalo into inaction by merely twisting its horns as it rushed to attack him. From the year 1671 to 1681, the situation in the Ahom kingdom was very stormy. Struggle for power and the increasing number of claimants to the throne resulted in kings being deposed in quick succession, all of whom were executed after the new king was instated. Sulik Fa, from 1679 to 1681, became the 28th king of the Ahom kingdom. He was only 14 years of age when Laluksula Borfukan, the Ahom viceroy of Guwahati and Lower Assam, raised him to the throne after deposing the former king Sudoifa. Due to his young age at the time of his accession, he was generally known as Laura Raja or the Boy King. His reign was characterized by the atrocities committed by Laluksula Borfukan, who held the real authority behind the throne in his name. The most notorious act which occurred during his reign was the mutilation of Ahom princes belonging to different feuds or clans of the royal Ahom dynasty. While most of the Ahom princes suffered mutilation, Prince Gadapani, the future King Gadadhar Singha from the Tungkungia branch of the royal Ahom dynasty, escaped due to the efforts of his illustrious wife Joymoti Konwari, who refused to divulge any information regarding her husband's whereabouts, even in face of the tortures inflicted by the henchmen of Laura Raja. Gadapani escaped to the Naga Hills. Fleeing from Ahom territory, Gadapani journeyed through Morankat and Hilpatha before reaching Shang in the Konyak land. His arrival in Shang could have been a coincidence, or perhaps he came seeking to learn more about his ancestors and trace his roots, an answer that remains a mystery. Long Tong Ang, the king of Shang, married Shanglih, the princess of Wanching. Together they had 3 sons: Tainok Kunglong, the oldest, Naoman Kunglei, the second, and Taimo, the youngest. Longtung divided his kingdom among his sons, with Tainok Kunglong to inherit the throne of Shang as the eldest. Naoman Kunglei was sent to the plains, and his descendants eventually became the rulers of Ahom kingdom. Taimo was given dominion over the eastern lands, now known as Arunachal Pradesh and Burma. It is said that Tainok Kunglong married a heavenly being. One day, while Tainok Kunglong was away, his brother Naoman Kunglei accidentally shot and killed his sister-in-law, the heavenly being. Fearing the wrath of his older brother, Naoman Kunglei fled to the plains, where he settled. He was cursed for the death of his sister-in-law. After many years, when Naoman Kunglei had a firstborn son, he sent messengers from the plains to Shang, to his older brother Tainok Kunglong, who was the king of Shang, asking for a name for the child. Tainok Kunglong named the boy Jiao Fa, meaning free from the curse. In this way, the curse was lifted through the naming of Jiao Fa. It is said that the names of later Ahom kings originated from Jiao Fa. After leaving Shang, Gadapani journeyed through various places, eventually arriving at Wakching, also known as Jaklung. Upon reaching Aokyangban, a strange event occurred. The sky darkened, and lightning struck Aokyangban 9 times. The people of Aokyang took this as an ill omen and asked Gadapani to leave. He was then escorted to Ban Lang Ban, but the storm persisted. It was only when he arrived at Ban Lang Angnok, the residence of the king of Ban Lang, that the storm miraculously ceased. As a result, Te Huang Ang, the king of Ban Lang, welcomed Gadapani, and he stayed there, regarded as one of Te Huang Ang's sons. Gadapani was given the name Bongyong Teakshai. Bongyong was the ancestral name of Ban Lang Ang clan, while Teakshai was a nickname given to him. Gadapani lived in Wakching for a couple of years, adopting the local customs and traditions. Historically, Wanching and Wakching have shared strong bonds, forged through marriage and friendship. The two villages would regularly meet during festivals and ceremonies, exchanging gifts and holding courtships. One such tradition was known as Mai Lokpu, where young men from Wakching Banlang and women from Wanching Angban, Angnok Yuo, would meet at specific times to form friendships, exchange gifts, and sing songs. During one of these gatherings, Gadapani, Bongyong Teakshai, met Watlong, Dalimi. Their friendship eventually blossomed into deep love, marking the beginning of the famous love story of Gadapani and Watlong. While Gadapani was in exile, unusual omens began to manifest in the Ahom kingdom. Concerned, the people sought guidance from astrologers and prophets who foretold that the ruler of the land was in Konyak territory. They were instructed to find their king and restore him to the throne to end the kingdom's misfortune. A group of Ahom soldiers journeyed to Konyak land, but they could not recognize Gadapani. On their second attempt, an old sage identified him. However, Gadapani could not trust the people, so he pretended not to recognize his people. Eventually, an Assamese singer was brought forth to sing songs in the Assamese language, describing the disarray in the Ahom kingdom. Gadapani, being the only person who understood the meaning of the songs, shed tears upon hearing them. The soldiers, recognizing him, brought Gadapani back to the Ahom kingdom. In the year 1681, he ascended the throne, adopting the Hindu name Gadadhar Singha and becoming the 29th king of the Ahom kingdom, also known as Supatvar. His predecessor, Laura Raja, was deposed, exiled to Namrup, and executed later on. Despite his return to the throne, Gadadhar Singha could not shake the sadness he felt for his lost love in the Naga Hills. When asked about his sorrow, he confessed that he could not live without Watlong. Determined to be reunited with her, Gadadhar instructed his attendants to search for Watlong in Wanching, Tablungia. When they arrived, the villagers, fearing that Watlong would be forced to go to Assam, falsely claimed that she had died. However, Gadadhar, unconvinced, insisted on seeing her grave, stating that if Watlong had died, he would have seen some signs in his dream. So, in an attempt to deceive the king, the villagers wrapped a dog's corpse like that of a human's and presented it as Watlong's remains. In those days, a dead body was wrapped and kept on the branch of a tree. When Gadadhar's attendants uncovered the body, they discovered the deceit. Tension between the Ahom and the Wanching rose, and Gadadhar demanded that Watlong be brought to him, or there would be no peace between the Ahom and Wanching. In response, the Wanching villagers devised a plan to confuse the king. They gathered hundreds of young women, all dressed identically, to pass before Gadadhar. As the women walked past Gadadhar one after another, he immediately recognized Watlong, and when she appeared, he cried out, "Edu Hoi!" Yes, and all his attendants echoed Hoi, a phrase that is still used today when an agreement is made in unison. Naginimora. Gadadhar Singha took Watlong back to Sibsagar, but Watlong's sister Shanglih followed them and reached the area between Yongpai, which is now known as Bihubor, and Kamshong, known today as Sangtok. Unfortunately, she was unable to reach the location where her sister had been taken to. Heartbroken, she returned to the village but sadly died on the way at a place called Lekan. The place where she passed away came to be known as Naginimora, which means the place where the Naga lady died. This place stands as a symbol of the bond between the Konyak Naga and the Ahoms. To this day, a song is sung about this touching story. Gadadhar Singha and Watlong were married in a grand ceremony, and Gadadhar invited many from the Naga Hills to attend the marriage party. During the feast, Watlong instructed her father not to eat the delicacies provided, but to ask only for a bamboo container filled with water and a piece of earth or mud to cover it. When Gadadhar came and found out that Watlong's father had not eaten anything, He asked him what the matter was and what it was that he wanted. Watlong's father told the king exactly as instructed, so the king instructed his officials to give Watlong's father likewise. The interpretation of the bamboo container filled with water and a piece of earth to cover it was given by Gadadhar as land and water tributes from a particular place and water. Thus, the Ahom would later bring fish and rice from a particular place and water, known to the Wanching villagers as the Nungpon, or fish tribute, and Napon, or rice tribute. This tradition continued till 1922, when the British government intervened and the tax was paid to the Wanching through the Subdivisional Officer, or SDO, Mokokchung, the amount of 140 rupees, known as the Galeki Dua Tablungia Chang No. 5. This arrangement continued till 1977, when it was discontinued for reasons not communicated to the Wanching. As a token of his marriage to Watlong, Gadadhar Singh gave matrimonial gifts to Wanching, including a bi and iron piece decorated with golden flowers and yan mongjang, or iron heart, symbolizing a portion of his heart. Bi is still kept at Wanching Ang's house to this day. However, yan mongjang was gifted to Chi village, and Chi, in turn, passed it to Longchang village to maintain peaceful relations and mutual protection. It is kept at Longchang village to this day. When King Gadadhar Singh took Watlong, also known as Dalimi, to Rangpur to be married to him in 1681, the dear and near ones of Watlong and a few other families were sent to accompany her to Rangpur. These families were allotted a place called Bortola, near Nazira town, to settle by King Gadadhar Singh in 1681. This place is called Hatha by the Wanching. After centuries of settlement at Bortola, the government of Assam asked the people of Bortola, or Hatha, to shift the village to make way for the construction of railway lines. Therefore, the village was shifted to a location known as Ligiri Pukuri, a few kilometers from Bortola. Later, when the population of the village increased reasonably, the Assam government relocated the village to the present-day Monaiding Naga Gaon village in the year 1968. When the village was relocated to the present Monaiding Naga Gaon from Ligiri Pukuri, initially only a few families shifted to the new location. However, later on, the majority of the families shifted as the land and space were bigger at Monaiding. Yet, a few families chose to stay back and are settled at Ligiri Pukuri even to this day. The present-day Monaiding Naga Gaon village consists of descendants of Watlong, or Dalimi, from Wanching village, and descendants of Wakching Banlang Morong, the Morong, where Gadadhar Singh took shelter as Bongyong Teakshai during his hideout. Monaiding villagers still speak the Wanching dialect even to this day. In the book entitled Sukafa Jyoti, written in Assamese language and published in the year 16th Akun 1903 Hook by the Assamese calendar, there is an article, Gadapani in the Naga Hills, written by Akil Panifukan, wherein he mentioned on page 23 that Watlong is from Wanching, and Gadadhar fell in love with Watlong when he was stationed at Wakching. A few other testimonies by Konyak villages like Shanglih, Mon, Chi, Layanga, Wakching Banlang, and Phom Yongnya village testified that, as per the oral tradition of storytelling and what they heard from their ancestors, Watlong, or Dalimi, is from Wanching village. Their testimonies can be seen in the following pages. Wanching is known by many names to many people. To the Ahom it is Tablungia, to Shanglih it is Zanghoa, to Mon it is Yaho, and so on.